Welcome back, Smite fans. We're back with some more action. And guess what? We know who we're watching next. We're watching Cherry Slush versus Ane de Armed Robbers. Cherry Slush with the upset over the Bakery Musi. We talked about how that could be a real thing and with real potential. And looks like that's actually what happened here.
I mean, those are my dogs. That's Benny Q, Cyclone Spin. I mean, those are Smite Founders Series champions. So honestly, it's what you're gonna come to expect from players of that caliber. And I'm just excited to see how they do against Ane de Armed Robbers. Some names on that team that I recognize as well, watching them from either some of the other amateur leagues, stuff like AGL or OSL. Seahost especially a name that sticks out to me. I'm really excited to see how they play in this game. I'm at the edge of my seat. This is, I was low-key hoping for this kind of matchup today, and to see it on the big screen, I'm so ready, I'm so prepared. Just give it to me.
Yeah, I do have to shout out Seahost. I'm pretty sure back in the day we played on a comp team together at some point for a little bit. So shout outs to them. Excited to see them get to play. Obviously, I always love watching Cherry Slush. All those players are fantastic. They're all fun to watch. It should be a good game. And we're only in the semifinals. We still have the finals to get to today in the Smite Prime Open Circuit for April. And remember, this is the last week. These teams, Cherry Slush specifically, is one of those teams that's really playing for those points so they can qualify into that top 8 for that double elimination tournament next week, so they can have a chance at the diamond and cash prize that goes along with it for the April tournament. And then guess what? Next month, we're going to be back with more Smite Prime action. You can come back and you can sign up for Smite Prime. Take a stab at it, see how it goes for you and your team. But we should be sending it over, I think, to our graphic with all of the pricing information so y'all can take a look at what first, second, and third place gets. See what these teams are competing for. First place, $2,500. That's $500 per player, 12,000 diamonds. Second place, $1,250, 6,000 diamonds. Third place, $500, 3,000 diamonds. So that's what they're playing for. Let's head over to the picks and bans so we can find out what is Cherry Slush going to prioritize. What is Ane de Armed Robbers going to pick? We will find out here soon. Musi, you think we see any new fun bands? We got some funny bands last game.
So honestly, it could be anything. I always think of the classics, right? What have we seen even today that's prioritized? Things like Sobek, Princess Bari, Aladdin. You also have picks like Kabrakan, which are really strong, really powerful. I feel like Aphrodite also comes off the board here because, you know, Inbound is definitely going to want to pick that up potentially for themselves. But we've also seen Inbound play Baron Samedi, so a little bit of a run back potential there, especially against a team like Cherry Slush. It feels impossible to ban out their god pool or try to take away target picks. Just take away what's generally good. If you're Ane de Armed Robbers, Bari, I would say Sobek, Kabrakan here, even Achilles, just generally good gods so that Cherry Slush has one less tool available to them going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I see the Thor ban. We saw what Thor could do earlier. Aspect Thor, super annoying to deal with in solo. Just has a ton of potential to just come crashing down and just set everything up. Bari last game didn't perform how we'd hoped to have seen, but we did get to see, you know, hey, she can do some damage later on in the game. Sobek, we're not surprised. We've been talking about that god pretty much all day, so we'll have to see how that goes here. What are they going to prioritize here for first pick? What do you think? What is Cherry Slush looking for here, Musi?
So there are a lot of things available. If I had to guess, something like either Achilles or, you know what's also really strong right now? I mean, Neath is strong in the mid lane if Benny Q wants to pick that up for themselves, but knowing Benny Q is probably going to be something like a Hera or even a Merlin that we know Benny Q loves to run. It is going to be the Kabrakan for Cherry in that solo lane. So now Ane de Armed Robbers have a couple of options that they could, in theory, respond with.
Yeah, I mean, I like this Kabrakan pick. We saw what it could do last game. Again, I still feel the same way about it. Like, it is feast and famine a little bit, but if you can do what Rimakami did last game and play it, let it chill, let it simmer, let it cook up a little bit, and then come over to these team fights and do what needs to be done, you're going to feel pretty good about it. Odin is the pickup on the other side, not going to have that to go along with the Kabrakan, but we have the Artemis. There's going to be a lot of lockdown potential here for Ane de Armed Robbers. I mean, obviously, Beads Burn, and walls. So you need beads and you need shells, or you need leaps, one of the two. And right now, that kind of limits some things that want to happen. I do like this Artemis pickup. I talked about earlier how if it goes along with other AoEs, it feels a lot better. Odin brings that to the table. Now it comes to Cherry Slush. How do they want to respond to this? Do they pick some AoE of their own, or are they going to go like more of a single target route?
So Jingwei hovered here more than likely for Cyclone Spin, a good response to characters like Artemis and characters like Odin, just because you have your ultimate to get away from either the Caledonian Boar or the cage itself. The Hercules lock-in, though, that is a little interesting. It's not what I was expecting, but I see the potential in a pick like Hercules because you have things like mitigate wounds to help give yourself some sustain, a little bit of extra tankiness, but also driving strike and excavate, great tools to displace people like Artemis or Zeus who maybe don't have dashes or anything like that. If you're able to cross that distance, you can pluck them and bring them to your team. But more than anything, I feel Hercules just brings a sense of survivability and just raw damage outpush that Cherry Slush is going to want to rely on.
I see another Zeus. All right, and we're gonna let that be what it is right now. Nemesis is what's locked in here. Not something I've seen a lot of. Whether it's on the comp side of things or just in my games in general, On a Day Armed Robbers might have a little bit of a plan here. This Nemesis might be a little bit of a sneaky pick that you're not used to playing against, and maybe they know something. Maybe they're cooking something that we haven't been seeing a lot of. I'm really, really interested to see how this plays out. Obviously, the pre-mitigating heal on the shield is insane. I think it does really, really good against AA, especially if you're into a Jingwei. But there's not a lot of other AA gods on their team, so a little bit interesting of a pick here. I am really, really interested to see the prioritization here. On the other side, we do see Humbats locked in. Hades is being hovered. That is a lot of AoE, and it does set up a lot of what you're wanting to do here. It also doesn't make you want to dive if you're Odin. We're hovering back over Nuwa now. Which do you think is better here, Musi? Are we going Nuwa or are we going Hades? Oh, looks like Nuwa.
So my answer is I don't like either of them, right? Just because I feel like Nuwa doesn't have great answers to this Nemesis, or excuse me.
Here, hear me out. She buys on Kile ult and she silences all 5 people.
Now you're cooking. Now you're cooking, Blaze. Now you got your thinking cap on. I didn't think about that. See? Global unmissable silence, guys. It's good. I can build this. That's wild tech. But all in all, I feel like Nuwa suffers here because you're picking Nuwa into Odin, you're picking Nuwa into Zeus, you're picking Nuwa into Nemesis. And Nuwa, to me, loses those matchups. She doesn't have a great way out of cage if she doesn't have ultimate. Zeus is able to chain lightning off of the clay soldiers that Nuwa puts out, so that puts her at risk to getting caught by that lightning. And Nemesis can stick to Nuwa if they have beads available, right? Nuwa tries to stun her out and she says, no. How about that? And you're like, well, I guess I just kind of lose and die there, right? So I worry about Nuwa, but it is in the hands of Benny Q, a player that is very knowledgeable about things like positioning and things like macro. So you almost expect them to perform well here. And we have to think about Nuwa in the grand scheme of the Cherry Slush composition. Long range damage that they're just throwing out, while either Hunbats or Jingwei is really going to be doing a lot of the legwork. Nuwa won't be the star of this show, more of a supporting role, but because they're a supporting role, I just worry, like I said before, can they get jumped on by On a Day Armed Robbers and just completely executed?
Yeah, I want to see how this pans out. Obviously, I think there's some really cool things you can do with Nuwa here. I mentioned the Ankile. I think that does a ton here. Is that what they decide to end up going? I'm not sure that is what Benny Q wants to do, but it is a huge disruption to the team fight. Or if you know, like, your teammates getting ganked, it's a huge disruption for what On a Day Armed Robbers want to do. We'll see how that pans out. Achilles was the last pick here, does have that execution. We'll see how that plays out here as we head into the game for our semifinals matchup between Cherry Slush, On a Day Armed Robbers. It's me, Blaze, and Musi. But we have to shout out everybody else of the production team here. We have Red, Rosie, Panda, we have Tess, we have Jithins, and we have Avrin all working behind the scenes today. So make sure to show them some love and support throughout the day. And it's going to be a nice matchup between, you know, Kabrakan and Achilles. Which one takes the edge here? But man, I am my cards. I really want to know what Jaggy is planning here on the Nemesis. Like I said, haven't seen a lot of it. I'm curious to see how Nuwa plays out for Benny Q, but it's Benny Q. We're going to see something interesting there that we probably didn't expect. The Jaggy pick here for this Nemesis, Musi, how are you feeling about it?
Well, and it just occurred to me, right? We have new items in the game like Tierfing, which can make auto attack characters that much stronger. So with that tool in hand, if Jaggy is able to stick on top of somebody, then they should be able to shred them down. And especially with items too, like the way the executioners change, you offer a lot of value to your team if you're able to just get your autos off, just hit abilities. I just worry about Nuwa getting caught up in all of that. That's where the real danger ends up happening.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with Scream here, playing on the Humbats, you do have a lot of potential here with the Nuwa. I mean, obviously you get the Fear No Evil going. If you get some Clay Minion stuns, it does set up a lot of like really sustainable damage and setup for your team. But again, we'll have to see how that plays out. I personally want to see Ankile. Are we going to see it? I don't know. But like, I'm telling you from experience, five-person unmissable Ankile ults feel pretty good for your team. On the other side here, we have Inbound playing some Hercules today, and I hate playing against that god, but this should be a fun time and a good duo lane. Oh no, First Blood dropped onto Cherry's head. Loesch did most of the work there. Jaggy comes in and picks up a nice little assist to the jungler. Can't feel too bad about that when you're playing the Nem if you just dash on over and you get a free assist.
Hey, it's the emotional support Nemesis, right? You hold their hand, you're like, hey man, you can get this kill all by yourself. You're like, thank you, emotional support like Nemesis. I appreciate you. But when it comes to this Hercules, whoa, damage, driving strike, Cyclone Spin's got to get out. Should be okay. Hercules, what they bring to a duo lane is pressure. It's the kill potential. It's, does Vayu get plucked and driving strike like they did there? At some point, Cyclone Spin's going to have enough items online that they'll be able to properly follow up on that, and Vayu can just die. Whoa, we're bullying Cherry.
Yeah, this is just a bullying fest over here on the solo lane. But meanwhile, over on the duo lane, that's where Cherry Slush decides to put all their allocated resources. Seahost now in trouble. Can they pick up both of them? They can't. Fear No Evil from Scream secures that kill. Both duo lane members fall for the side of Onadair Robbers. They said, cool, you put pressure in the solo. We're going to go on the other side of the map. We're going to put some pressure in duo. Nice response here by Cherry Slush. But I will tell you this from watching Cherry many a times over the past year for Smite 2, you can do this to Cherry, and you can bully Cherry early.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to make a play at some point that you're going to regret having gone over there and bullied him for so long, and I am waiting to see that. I will not forget a time where he played Hades solo, he rotated to duo, and he did a 5-man Hades ult and just absolutely obliterated the team fight. So he's on Cabrakan this time around. He still has that type of potential here. Keep him down, but it's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
Scream here to level the playing field for the solo lane. Achilles forced to ult away. They respect the fact that the Humbats is around the corner, so not quite ready to make any hard engagements there. But you're super right about Cherry. As the fight isn't over, Lush trying to take more.
Yeah, I mean, Scream's still here. I don't know if I like this engagement from Onadair Robbers. Jaggy rotates over, but I'm not sure they knew that Benny Q was waiting around the corner. As soon as they saw Nuwa floating about, they're like, yeah, we need to get out. Let's just not deal with minions getting stunned and then crying on the gray screen, because that's pretty much how that engagement would have gone. I do like the pressure being put out here on the solo lane. They have a method. They know what their playstyle is here and what they want to do. And so far they're executing that well. Now, they just means their their duo lane has to be a little bit more cautious in their play, because Scream's going to go over there and play through duo. And if you're going to step up mid lane, you're going to eat some Fear No Evils if you're on a day on Robbers.
Well, what's interesting too is Jaggy putting all this pressure onto the solo lane. As Caledonian Boar comes out, is Inbound dead?
Oh, he might be dead. It's Caledonian Boar. It's the cage. Phantom Show, last second. Scream is here. Here it comes. There's the Fear No Evil. The boulder comes rolling down the lane. It's good damage, but is it enough to finish the kill? Vayu takes the fall. Scream shows up in the nick of time, and he means business. Maybe even some monkey business, Musi.
I mean, that is ridiculous. Jaggy shows up, right as everything's ending, but they can't catch anybody. And this highlights pretty well something I was about to say. The difference between Scream and Joggy in this game right now is that when Scream rotates to these fights, they are getting last hits, they are getting farm, they're getting a lot of value from their rotations, whereas Joggy's camped solo lane a couple of times, but has ultimately fallen behind because they just not have found as much. They only have assists. They're only the emotional support nemesis. They're not the Chad Alpha Hunbats who shows up, Fear No Evil's a dual lane, and then says, cool, I'll bill you later. Like, I don't care. So already, Scream to me is going to have a leg up in this game just because they can find so much more. A little bit of a different tangent here, because my mind has been stuck on this Nuon, what she brings. I'm wondering that if with Ancient Signet, is that the plan where you just completely blow somebody up with the combo? We're just trying to get as close to one-shotting somebody as possible. It still suffers from the potential of getting totally jumped on, but there is potential there, at least for the new Slush, rotating over to this dual lane. Unanti-armed robbers want to try to force something onto Cyclone Spin.
Yeah, and Cyclone Spin's walking around back here at the tower. He's like, okay, my support's not with me. I don't want to step up too much. I don't think he's in the know. But now the Achilles is gone, and look who's over here. Scream has made the rotation. So this is where you have to be careful for on robbers. The purple buff's up. They're going to go ahead and secure it. Inbound is running towards the enemy purple. They are looking to make another play over here in the dual lane, which has been where they want to keep their pressure. And it's actually a Gold Fury pull that they're looking at here. Just really, really sneaky. It looks like, hey, Seahost, do you have the idea? Nope. Inbound just walking up and says, you will fight me. Eat a boulder, Vayu. And here comes the Phantom Shell getting out of the cage. Inbound doesn't take a spill. They get a Gold Fury for free, and they're invading the purple buff. Cherry Slush are having a fantastic start to this game.
I mean, that is just proactive at its best, right? Because we send inbound out, just like you said, harass them at the purple buff, and then you have damage on board from Cyclone Spin and from Screen to just shred a Gold Fury, so you might as well go for it. Uh-oh, Benny Q.
Yeah, Benny Q under trouble here. Here comes the Zeus ultimate, but guess what? Benny Q still alive and now looking for forward, because guess who's there? Scream's there, and they're looking for the Reaper. They said, we don't fear it. And now they'll walk away. Jaggy trying to make a play here on the Scream. Scream's
wow.
The lightning bounce did just enough damage there. Nice play between Reaper and Jaggy. Some good teamwork to take down Scream there. It did not look like it was going to go their way, but they were able to change it to their favor. Inbound Nate now making a rotation over to mid. Benny Q still farming away here and didn't get picked up, but so far, good fights on both sides. Obviously a little bit of gold lead to Cherry Slush. I wanted to touch on a point you made about the Nuwa earlier where you said, hey, maybe it's a combo piece, but like Soul Gem plus Ancient Signet? Like, we hadn't talked about that. Now Inbound picking up the Reaper. Oh no, the Zeus is in a lot of trouble. I don't think the Wind Sprite's going to save you, bud. He is looking for it all, and he's going to boulder you to a victory on that one. Inbound picks up the kill on the Zeus.
Gosh, I mean, Hercules does so much damage without even having to build damage, and that's the value from this Hercules pick. All the way back in Picks and Bans, I'm thinking to myself, what does he bring overall? Pressure in the dual lane and everywhere on the map, and now Seahost forced to use their ultimate in order to get away. I mean, this Cherry Slush composition, it's working. It works. You have Inbound to help carry the rest of the composition and Scream as well to get to that late game that they're looking for, because once Benny Q gets some items online, then they really start to pop off. But Lush does solo Cherry in the solo lane. They did have to use the Achilles Execute to make it happen, and a rotation from Benny Q to save the lane, probably not to get a kill, but just to get some farm.
Yeah, and I think Cherry Slush is okay with this. I think they went into this game knowing, okay, hey, Kabrakan can get isolated. We just need him to get to late game. We're going to let Cherry do his own thing. We'll rotate from time to time, but we are not concerned about Cherry at this point in the game. Like, we know he's going to be okay. This is fine. Like, we're doing fine everywhere else. This isn't a big deal.
Well, and you
nice
know,
little
too,
fight here now.
Ooh.
Jaggy looking for damage on the Scream. Scream was hiding in that bush, but here comes the rotation by Lush. And not only that, Seahost is here too. Scream is getting ran at here by the half of the team of on robbers will get out for the time being. Inbound now made the rotation over. It's a support fight in the mid lane. Scream was sticking around trying to confirm the red buff. I don't think Slush is going to make the way over, but Cherry is not in a good place right now. Chasing down Jaggy under that tier 1, but looked at here by Slush. I think Cherry might take another spill here, but that's going to be okay. In the mid lane, there's going to be a fight here, possibly. On Robbers looking for something. They're just going to go for farm instead. But look at the rotation now. Scream making the way over to the solo lane. Cherry is fine. Loesch under attack here, about half health. But look at this. Jaggy's low. Cherry solos down Jaggy, which was a 1v2. Just remember, was right under the tower just to take that fight. Now Seahos making the way over to the solo lane. Inbounds here, hovering around. We do have Reaper on that right side jungle, but no engagement as of yet. Inbound looking here just to be as annoying as possible. Do Hercules things, I guess. Pops the health pot, and now just going to walk under tower that the minions are here. Cherry is there as well. It should dissuade any action from on robbers.
I mean, Inbound really just is that guy walking around and say, yeah, I don't care. You're not going to kill me. And it's curious to see Cherry, too, really just popping off here. On robbers. Can they make something happen here?
Oh, they're looking to try to do something. Loesch is on the chase down. There's the walls. The cage is there. Great stun. Cherry's like, Phantom Shell, please, inbound. Inbound comes through, gets it, throws the boulder for the knockup just to try to get the disengage going and slow them down. Walls separated off, and Cherry will live to see another day. Jaggy was on the rotation too, but Benny Q, hovering the right side jungle as well, was not going to let them take down Cherry again. We've talked about Cherry being rotated on and then playing through this solo lane for on robbers, but like, Cherry has a gold lead. Cherry might be down 0-3, but Cherry has the gold lead over Loesch right now. So that's something to take in mind, where, again, you might try to keep him down, but he's going to make his way back and make you pay for it.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Cabrakan is one of those gods where you can put so much pressure on them in the solo and you can kill him a few times. Doesn't matter. Cabrakan is happy and willing to take that trade, mostly because it lets Cherry Slush get ahead. Too many tools used to try to keep a Cabrakan out of the fight. The Cabrakan is an inevitability. He's going to happen regardless. And now, because of all the motion happening on the right side, this left side Gold Fury objective is open for the taking, completely uncontested. Cherry Slush close out their second Gold Fury for the game, and Cherry is just chilling.
Yeah, Cherry's like, cool, I'm going to get ran at by 2 people. Hey, guys, make sure to do that Gold Fury real quick. If there's anything else you need to farm, go do that too. On robbers are sending 4 people over to kill Cherry right now. And he is still not dead. And here comes the Humbats. Scream is there, and Scream's ready to fight. 2v4, doesn't care. Benny Q can obviously go up into the air whenever, cast some extra magic down from the skies, and there it is. They know, hey, there are 4 people here, and he picks up the kill on Vayu. Oh, nice. Nice pickup from the left-hand side. Didn't see that health bar was low, but, a little trouble for your ultimate there. Find out where everybody is and take down one along the way. Tier 1 tower is going to fall on the left side.
On robbers, it feels like the target prioritization is a little off the mark because we are piling on top of the solo laner when there are targets on the map that, to me, feel significantly more important and almost more achievable to kill. Benny Q has been free farming the map. I think I've seen Benny Q in mid lane for a collective total of like 3 minutes. Uh-oh, well, you're dead. I'll miss you.
Jump ultimate from Scream.
Bye, Lush.
Sorry.
Anyways, I blink and you'll miss it. But Benny Q has just been power farming this whole time, and because they have their new ult, they get to. Benny Q did not steal the Naga, bit of a close one. But because they have ult, Benny Q can just be a part of any fight, and you have Ancient Signet, and you have Soul Reaver, so you pop 4, you got big damage, inbound, getting jumped on, but you're Hercules, but you're trapped. No, you're not.
He doesn't care. He has a shell. He doesn't care. There are 4 people there. Inbound could care less if the enemy team's there. He is literally just walking around and being like, if you remember movement speed tiers in Arena and Smite 1, it's like that. There's the ultimate from Reaper trying to just put out some damage, maybe even a stun here in a second to cause a disengage. And Cherry Slush doesn't care. They're like, cool, we're going to grab some farm. Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to take your tier 2 and mid while we're here. The macro play is just really, really good. Cherry now getting ran down, but they're not going to be able to kill him. Pyromancer should be looked at now. They're going to clear out that right side jungle. Cherry Slush, if you wanted a story about how to do macro play, here it is. They're looking for Benny Q. Benny Q up in the air, getting vision on everybody. Could be a little bit of trouble here. Cyclone Spin turns that around and says, hey, by the way, I'm here. Let's go in. The carries peeling for each other and just stepping up with no sort of fear. They don't fear the Reaper, Musi.
I have to point this out so quickly, please. Cyclone Spin is like 3 levels over value, and they were 4 levels over value like 30 seconds ago. Like, Pyramids are scooped up by Cherry Slush. They're so far ahead, the macro, like you said, is on. And I think Losh is dead again.
Oh, yeah. There's no way. Scream's not letting that one go. Scream will taste this to the Titan room. No, it's gone. It's gone. Monkey Toss took care of that. You heard the ooh, and then it was gone. It just to the gray screen to go. And it should be a Fire Giant pull here from Cherry Slush if I had to guess. I mean, there's 4 members here, obviously inbound backed, but there's nothing really stopping them from starting this up.
Well, and I mean, who can stop them? Everybody from Out of the Arm Robbers is just scattered across the map, and that Fire Giant just gets shredded away. And this whole time, inbound is just going to be harassing Vayu, denying them farm. So, Out of the Arm Robbers, as Cherry Slush finally confirmed that FG, now that you're in this position, is there a way to squirm out of it, right? And how do you do that? What does that fight look like for you? Seahost has to try to get a big Odin ultimate, and in order to make that happen, we have to try to force out some of these shells that Cherry Slush have in their back pocket. Maybe the best way to do that is Reaper can try to get some big damage off, but that's going to be tough. So if it really comes down to Seahost needs to find value with the ult, and then we have that 1-2 combination of Reaper ult inside of it, and then Losh just executes people one after the other. The Achilles is the real win con in my eyes. If we can get a chain execute, that's how we can kill people, because anything else feels really just not quite feasible. Cherry Slush, maybe 5 seconds ago, confirms their 3rd Gold Fury for this game. So now with all 3 pips, they're getting out of the base faster, their minions are enhanced, they're doing extra damage to objectives. At least Out of the Arm Robbers do have a solid defense with your Zeus ult, with your Odin Cage, with your Artemis ult as well. So Cherry Slush shouldn't be able to just walk in there willy-nilly, but they do. It's an uphill battle for Out of the Arm Robbers.
Yeah, and like, I like the positioning here for Cherry Slush. They decided to cut off in front of the tier 2 there to make sure Onodata Robbers can't even come up to defend. They have Fire Giant. They're allowed to push whatever they want here. And it looks like, hey, we're going to just focus this Phoenix down. Scream has the dagger, so he's not afraid to take some damage. Inbound pops the shell. No surprise to anybody there. Throws the boulder, gets some good damage off. And cool, now they're going to re-engage. Inbound's practically full health. And they're going to get this left side bird most likely, unless they decide to take the fight instead. Oh, great. Excavate. And they pull the Achilles to somewhere they do not want to be. But it's still nearly full health bars here for Cherry Slush. Their wave is now there. They're looking for the bird, but Cyclone Spin's looking for Vayu and more. They're just walking into the Titan room. Benny Q inbound are not afraid of taking the action into the Titan room before the Phoenix falls. And look at this. Here comes Scream with the damage to throw overhead. Reaper in trouble here on the Zeus. There's the beads, but Cherry picks up the kill onto the Zeus. They're looking at this Titan, but they got to take some people down along the way. Jaggy trying to get some free damage off. Cyclone Spin looking to chase it down under the Titan, or sorry, under the Phoenix. It doesn't care. Benny Q picks up Seahost. Losh is gone. Deicide for Cherry Slush, and that's going to be the game for them as well, as they stand in the Titan room with the whole wave of minions to take it down.
Well, Cherry Slush, just from start to finish, they had their game plan and they executed it. Haunted Arm Robbers never had a chance to really get into the game. I mean, they put a lot of pressure onto Cherry into solo lane, so it looked like that could have been their way in. But ultimately, when you put so much onto a Cabrakan and seemingly nowhere else on the map, it just lets Cyclone Spin power farm, lets Benny Q power farm. Scream has total control wherever they want to go, and inbounds a menace. So at the end of the day, Cherry Slush just out macroed Ano De Arm Robbers and said, cool, you're camping solo, we're gonna do Gold Fury, and then we're gonna do Gold Fury again, and then now we're gonna do Fire. also you lose because my Nuwa has like 20k damage because they just get to do whatever they want. The question of like, what are we gonna do about Nuwa? How do we control her? Like, she feels so easy to kill. Never once came up because Benny Q wasn't even part of fights as a general rule. They just pressed forward from a distance and went like, I'm gonna go do these camps. Okay, cool. You guys got the, all right, bye. Oh, we're here level 20. Kill them. Like,
yeah. Oh, hey, do you need vision? All right, cool. I'll tell you where we're at real quick. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. We can do that gold. We can engage on the right side. Veo's dead on the left under that tier 1 tower. I mean, like, the new wall was excellently used there. We're not surprised. It's Benny Q. We said that earlier. Like, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be him. Sad not to see that on Kille, but I'm just saying, go try it out in your games. It's a fun time. But obviously, we saw Ancient Signet build there with the Nuwa. I am curious if Soul Gem was going to be any part of that build to go along with it. The Soul Reaver, the Book of Toth. I think there's some huge potential there. But shout outs to everybody on Cherry Slush. Just an excellent game there. Inbound was just running at people for free. Cyclone Spin made Jingwei look good, which, you know, we've talked about my thoughts on Jingwei as of late. Earlier today, Scream, fantastic game on the Hunbats. Really just kind of everything going their way. The macro play was just insane by Cherry Slush here.
And something to highlight here with Inbound's build too, not only do you have Thieves and Stampede, but the Spirit Robe. So anytime either, basically any CC that would come out from Honor the Armed Robbers gets immediately negated because Inbound gets a bunch of prots. They heal 6% of their max health over 6 seconds, something crazy like that on a Hercules who's already building a ridiculous amount of health and is naturally healthy and tanky. Inbound was just never at risk to die. It just wasn't gonna happen. And on a day on Robbers, they just never had a chance to get online. I mean, look at these builds, Blaze. 3 items for On a Day on Robbers. Yeah. Maybe 4 for Cherry Slush. Like, it's such a fast-paced game.
Yeah, I mean, 13,000 gold difference. And that is just, it was insanely quick. I mean, they pulled their, third Gold Fury at 17 minutes. I mean, they were really on the macro this game. You can see it here. Benny Q led the damage charge, 20,000 damage, and really it wasn't close by anybody else. Obviously, you get the free damage here from the new wall ultimate, but the next highest damage is Scream. So that kind of tells you, like, hey, we're okay with just having Benny chill under the tier 1 tower and hit 4 every once in a while and see what happens. Cherry Slush moving on to the finals here for Smite Prime. They're waiting to find out, are they going to be playing against Bible Study or Party Game? But we'll take a look at the bracket here so you can see how it's progressed throughout the day. Remember, these teams are playing for their 3rd week here of the April open circuit of Smite Prime. Next week will be the closed bracket. Top 8 teams move on to that double elimination bracket and have a chance to play for some prize money as a team and some diamonds as well here, Musi. Who do you think we're going to see here in the finals? We know it's going to be Cherry Slush between Bible Study and Party Game. How you feeling after we've seen what Party Game could do earlier?
So, from what I remember seeing from both Bible Study, when I saw them last week, and from the Party Game of recent, I'm a little bit more inclined to think that Bible Study probably comes out ahead there, just because the Bible Study macro play was so on point when we were watching it before. But even in that same sentence, Party Game's been playing really hot today. They've been looking pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Party Game come through, but I really do feel it's going to be Bible Study versus Cherry Slush for our final game today.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Bible Study, we've seen them be really solid and consistent throughout every single one of these tournaments. But Party Game, they are hot. Momentum sometimes does matter. If momentum's in your favor, sometimes you can get on a run, and we'll have to see, can they come back? I mean, they are the 11 seed here playing against the number 2 seed. They have a chance to progress on through, make it to the finals, and collect some major points here for today to make that top 8 run that we've been talking about for that prizing. So we're going to have to stay tuned, find out who is going to come up next here. And are we going to see a Kerberos today? We talked a lot about some dogs. We've seen a bunch of the other ones, but, you know, Curb not banned this week, not really seeing him. I'm not super surprised by that, but maybe in the last game we get a little splash of something different here. The picks have been good today. The bans have been good as well. We're going to throw it over to a break while we wait for the finals to be set in that bracket. Stay tuned for more Smite Prime action here after a quick break.
What?